It is no surprise, unfortunately, that anti-Semitism in Europe is raising its ugly head yet again. Never again. And today, it's a synagogue in Berlin's Mitte neighborhood that was attacked with Molotov cocktails. Not the first, unfortunately, unlikely to be the last. We want to turn now to Michal Cotler-Wunsh, Israel's Special Envoy on Combatting Antisemitism, former member of the Israeli Parliament. Ms. Cotler-Wunsh, thank you very much for joining us. So, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, just here in Israel yesterday, strongly condemning this attack, saying anti-Semitism has no place in Germany, but the truth of the matter is it is alive, it is kicking, and it is far from fringe.
And it is not just in Germany. I'll share with you that the very same anti-Semitic hate that enabled and fueled the atrocities and the war crimes that were perpetrated on October 7th of murder and of rape and of pillaging and of burning and of abduction of Jews in their Jewish nation state, that very same virulent anti-Semitism fuels not only the demonstrations and the protests that we see, whether in Germany or actual acts of violence, but it fuels the possibility of what we hear online, on university campuses, in demonstrations, in Congress: denial, justification, and excusing for atrocities that have not occurred, befallen to the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And when you talked about never again, you know, the never again for the rest of the world was never again will we be silent. The never again for us is never again will we not be able to defend ourselves. And never again will we wait for somebody to come and save us. And never again will we fall into the false moral equivalency between genocidal terror that is committed to the annihilation of the state of Israel and the murder of Jews for their identity, and that democratic state that not only can but must defend its citizens and its borders.
And Michal Cotler-Wunsh, I want us to be clear. We're talking about homes of Jews in Germany being marked with the Star of David. The UK Jewish doctors are reporting of being abused by their colleagues. Doctors themselves, those colleagues, supporting Hamas. France, dozens of anti-Semitic incidents, harassment in Jewish school children. The list goes on and on and on. Bottom line, is Europe safe for Jews?
I'm going to say again, it's Europe. It's also North America.
Yeah.
Students are standing on university campuses and they are the target. Jewish students are the target of their peers. Europe, North America, the entire world. And what we see now is the onslaught of anti-Semitism. And is it safe? Well, the only thing I'm going to say is that the last time that we experienced this kind of assault on Jewish identity and the commitment to murder Jews, we did not have a nation state. We did not have a country. Yeah. And the importance of understanding that it is that country with Jews around the world, they must too understand. It's part of the reason that I'm now in New York City and headed to Washington. Jews around the world must understand that this is it. This is that existential moment where, whereas at the time of the Holocaust, we had no ability to defend ourselves. Now we have not only an ability but a responsibility to defend ourselves, but we cannot do it alone. And we will need not only Jews from around the world to rally, but we'll need that civilization to recognize, as you said, that this is an onslaught on our shared values, not only on Jews and not only on their nation state.
Yeah, the Jews are usually perhaps first, never the last in this respect. So, Michal Cotler-Wunsh, Jews, Israelis do not feel safe, that's for certain. But you know the phrase, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that they're not chasing you. This is obviously the case. There are people who are looking to hurt Jews. What can administrations around the world, not just in Europe and North America and elsewhere, Latin America, what could administrations do?
So the most immediate sort of response, and many administrations, cities, law enforcement mechanisms have taken this step, and that is, of course, to increase security so that Jews can feel a little bit safer, to increase security on synagogues, on schools, on community centers, and on individuals. What I beg in every single one of the high-level meetings that I'm having, in every capacity, whether on university campuses, in cities, or in countries, is that there has to be a recognition definition of anti-Semitism in its comprehensive form, meaning that anti-Zionism and the negation of Israel's right to exist is the current strain of the ever-mutating virus of anti-Semitism. We can't pretend to identify and combat only part of a virus, as we know from COVID. Anti-Zionism and the negation of Israel's very right to exist, whether it's happening on the streets of Berlin, Melbourne, or New York City, is what all those committed to civilization and to the shared values of humanity have to commit to expose and combat comprehensively. And that recognition is only the first step, not the last, as we have the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition that includes all strains of this ever-mutating virus and is the resource that has to be used around the world.
Well, not that we needed any reminder that anti-Semitism is always a thing. We did. Michal Cotler-Wunsh, the Israel Special Envoy for Combatting Antisemitism, former Israeli member of Parliament, thank you very much for speaking to us, and thank you for your work at this crucial time. Thank you.